if you want to start just engaging and telling stories that are kind of ridiculous, they're going to work because people don't expect them.
Going to be a fun day today. I'm binging. I'm going to leave that in there. I'm bringing you Antoine. He's a speaker and author and storyteller, so this should be fun, who teaches businesses to connect with their clients through the power of creative storytelling. And you guys, you know me, I'm not going to read the whole bio in here, but some really cool things. So, Antoine, welcome to the show today, man. I really appreciate you coming on. Tell us your story. Tell us your journey. Tell us how the hell you got here being a storyteller. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, sure. So it started about like 4 years ago when I went to university. I was really trying to find what I wanted to do, I guess, with my life. At first, I was supposed to go in like an education and all that. My grades weren't adding up to make it there. So after that, I had taken 2 English electives, and from there, I was pretty decent at it, I would say. And after that, I decided to just jump into the English program at Bishop's University. I guess that's where it started. But if we really go back, back to my youth, I would write stories when I was a child, but like awful, like fan fiction, like nothing like you could publish, like nothing I would like to show to someone, basically. There's always that creative drive when it came to, I guess, just like writing and drawing and just like those creative expressions where I would say that I would just like create stories, and whether it be like fan fiction, like Dragon Ball Z or something, I would just like try to draw the characters and make them speak and stuff and try to bring them on a new adventure. And that's basically what I do right now, but for my clients. So it's a different process, but I mean, the same principles as it used to be, but just more professionally.
You go from life experiences, and you mentioned Dragon Ball Z, so we'll have some fun conversation about that. But you go from storytelling to Dragon Ball Z, and now you go into companies and teach them how to storytell. And what's the outcome of them learning how to storytell in this style? What are you hoping to accomplish with that?
So the difference is that I was just doing getting a mentor for copywriting, and I learned the principles of copywriting, and then I just thought it was very dry, like a very dry way to tell stories, and I was used to reading a lot of fiction back in school for my classes. So I knew there was a way to combine sales or fiction or something prose-like to deliver the message, basically. I had a client back in February where he told me that I was forbidden to sell in his emails. So he had a email campaign that he wanted to start, and he told me that you absolutely cannot sell anywhere in the emails, so you couldn't really send them back to the website or anything. So you have to just be more creative. And I think that's the first time that a client of mine would say you're not allowed doing certain things. And I think that by removing that, it allowed me to dive deeper into my creative expression.
Wow, that's really cool. So you took somebody's newsletter, transformed it into a story so they could sell without making it look like they were trying to sell something. Dude, that's awesome.
Exactly.
And that's what you do for a full-time gig, is you go in and help companies convert their story into some sort of storytelling thing.
I currently don't do this full-time yet. I'm just putting in the work to do this as full-time as it can be. So I do work for my mother's company on the side. And when I have the additional time, and whether it's night, whether it's day, I don't work that much for my mother's company. So when I get a lot of time to focus on my business as well. So it's not a full-time income yet for my business, but I'm doing whatever it takes to get there.
No, dude, I love that. So what's Mom's company? What company does she run?
She runs many companies, but I work, she has an IT company, but I don't really work with the IT company. I just do I help with the bookkeeping, basically. So it's very unrelated to what I do for my own business.
Okay.
I just check up on the contractors that send their hours in, make sure that it matches up what they're billing her and stuff like that. It's really paperwork.
No, I love that. I mean, I think a lot of people are on that journey of, working some sort of full-time type career gig while they're working on their passion project, if you will, to make something more more what they really enjoy doing. So how long have you been doing the storytelling thing as a business?
As a full business, I would say because I talked to a friend of mine, he said that I was running it more like a freelancer at the beginning, and that's true. So about a year ago, back to like April 2017, that was when I was actually starting like bartering my services with other people and just like getting the hang of it. I didn't know anything about online marketing, but I'm still learning. I'm still learning on the go. I'm just learning what's going on and what to do. And so it's just like a huge learning curve that you really have to get into.
Yeah, don't worry, man. You're going to be learning for the rest of your life as you continue on. As an entrepreneur, as you're becoming into that world, everything's a learning experience. Everything's going to be, and it's going to require a lot of screw ups along the way to figure everything out. So what are you hoping to really create with this company, with this idea? Is it you're going to build an agency wrap around to get everybody to tell a story, or where are you taking this thing?
Actually, I'm trying to take it as far as to say that I don't want to work anymore with like startups and stuff like that, because I worked with a lot of startups just writing for them, and one, they don't have a lot of money, so they're not my ideal clients. So I'm just trying to reach people. My services are good for people who already have an email list or already have the following. Because I did start some coaching with certain clients, and since they didn't have enough engagement on social media, even if I write their offers, they don't get people to opt in because they're not going live on Facebook, they're not posting on Facebook every day. So they're missing like a lot of fundamental steps before hiring me to help them achieve what they want to achieve, basically.
It absolutely makes sense. But I think a lot of people don't understand what it takes and the power of emails and all of that in this day and age. People talk all the time about, social media is like that thing. Well, at the end of the day, the goal of social media is to get the email so you can grow your business, because that email communication is really where the money's made, the business is developed, and this, that, and the other. So you want to get past the startups. You want to go to mid-level companies, big companies. Are you trying to get to
big? Yeah, I'm trying to get to $1 million companies. I've worked with 7-figure people as well. I worked with we could say the whole range kind of thing, but I haven't worked with that many clients. But I've seen the difference when you work with someone that has the audience, right? So with the 9 emails that I was able to make for the email campaign, he generated $5,000 with those emails without selling them. So I knew that when he gave me the digits and all that, I said I really wanted to keep working with people who already know their audience well enough, right? This is a client that comes to me and he basically just throws money at me to write his emails, and he also throws data at me at the same time. So he's not there going blindly into the transaction where he doesn't have anything planned. He knows exactly what his audience is talking about when he's not there, basically. So he collects amounts of data when it comes to keywords, SEO. So everything that he has is good for me because I don't have to start and go into like the discovery call and trying to figure it out for him.
No, that's awesome. That makes complete and total sense. And as you get with the bigger businesses, they have a more handle on of what they're trying to accomplish and what they're trying to do. Talk to me about Dragon Ball Z, because I thought that was funny that's a reference you threw out there.
Yeah.
Are you like a Dragon Ball Z fanatic, or is that just
not anymore? Like I've seen one of the latest movies, but I haven't kept on following with what's going on. I know they have like different series now, so I have a hard time following up with that. I know that Goku has like red hair or something now, or something from his new transformation, but I don't really follow a lot of television shows or anything like that anymore, so I really focus heavily on the business side of things. As a child, I would listen to like Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, just to I loved rewatching the episodes and stuff, so it was always fun.
Well, I never got past the whole Super Saiyan thing, and I don't even remember when that was. That was way back, but whenever I watched it, but that was in my younger years, and there was probably a lot of weed involved at that point, late at night. But that's cool that you've taken kind of something along those lines and you've turned it into a business model that you're trying to figure out how to grow, how to scale, and go with it. So you've talked about you can do it with newsletters. What else do you use storytelling for their companies? Are you doing it for social media and all that stuff, or?
Yes and no. Like, it depends. Like, my three biggest ideal clients or clients that I've been working with are personal brands, e-commerce, or affiliate marketing. So those are really like the three big ones that I'm trying to just keep on working on, because they're the ones that are most established. I really don't want to use creative storytelling when it comes to a corporate brand, because it would be very difficult to convince them why it works, basically, because I fear that they might be too closed-minded when it comes to just trying new things kind of thing. So just trying to stay away from very corporate companies.
Gotcha. So are you using the storytelling to grow your brand? I mean, do you have a newsletter that's going out and you're telling stories in it and whatnot?
So I'm actually like not that active with my own newsletter. I actually have a very low email list. I'm like not even my own ideal client, to be honest with you.
So it's the cobbler's kid has no shoes type thing, right? You know,
it's more like you have to go test on other people's stuff to see the results kind of thing. So
right on.
But I mostly get most of my engagement just from my personal Facebook page. So I use my personal Facebook page as my business page, we could say. And that's where I get a lot of leads and stuff. So I try to collect data on that.
Nice. Are you using LinkedIn at all?
I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't know the growth tactics around it. So there's a lot of learning around that to be done. So.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. With the target market you're going after, LinkedIn is probably going to be a huge play for you, because that's where a lot more your business people get done. So I would take the same tactics you're deploying on Facebook and actually put them out there on LinkedIn under your profile and use similar methodologies, but start telling your stories out and using your clients with, of course, the company name and individual removed unless they give you permission, and start doing the storytelling out there to get people to really embrace what you do. What's been the craziest project you've worked on so far?
There's two that were quite interesting. So like I said, the one for the e-commerce brand, I can't say the name, but I mean, just like having the guy call me back and say how much money he generated from every single email. I think that was like the craziest thing I had heard over the phone, because I don't promise money results when it comes to doing this work, because like I said, the results can vary depending on the person. If I don't really know how many emails you have on your list, I can't really say like how much money can be generated from it and stuff like that. So it's always kind of like a test thing. So that's the craziest thing so far. When I had the client on the phone, he calls me back about like 2 weeks after or something. After the emails were sent out, he was just listing every single email with the title and how much money it was made. And also, it wasn't also just about the money. The reason why this works differently than your traditional like copywriting, sales copy, is that people engage more with you afterwards. Instead of just telling them stories, and stories are fun to read and whatever. But I mean, it's more about the engagement you get. So I wouldn't say it's like a return on investment. It's more a return on impact first, and then the investment follows.
I love that. And the whole idea of return on impact is huge, because I think not everybody, but a lot of people look at any sort of marketing as it better close the sale out.
Yeah.
When a lot of times it's just creating awareness of what you're doing, which hopefully leads to a conversation, which may ultimately lead to a sale. What kind of stories are you telling? Is it origin stories, or is it something you're just creating on the fly? Not
origin stories, since like I would have to dig like much deeper with the brand for origin stories, and that's kind of, let's admit it, it's kind of boring in a sort of way. So basically, when it comes to the stories, you can do anything you want with the stories, because you have that creative freedom. If the person you're working with lets you decide what you can write about, you're the boss, right? You're the one who decides. You talk about funny stuff, very funny stuff. You can make anything that is positive, okay? So nothing negative in the emails, nothing like you're calling out the audience and stuff like that. So nothing like that. So whatever you can do to make them laugh, make them smile, make them want to maybe buy a product, or you talk about a product and you say, oh, maybe you're missing this on your shelf, or I know that you might be missing this, or something to just give them reminders and stuff like that. So it's very light. So it's nothing too harsh. Yeah. So that's basically I can't really say more about the products. It's kind of difficult So, yeah.
So let's say you have my label of a boring company, like an engineering company, a CPA company, where there's not a lot of fun content or stories you can say about taxes or creating blueprints. I mean, how do you convert that into a story where people are going to be entertained, might not be the right word, but engaged with the content? I mean, is that something you could do?
Sure, but I would have to dig deeper to know, because it's like a service-based company. And if you have a physical product, it could be a little easier for me, but I could try to dig deeper with the CPA, but I mean.
But you'd rather do products and things.
Yeah. I like products. Like, okay. For example, the other day I went live on Facebook, but I didn't get too much engagement on this one, but I talked about a pen, right? I'm like, if you were to sell a pen online and this is your favorite pen and it's starting to like run out of ink or something, then you start making your story around that basically, right? In the email you would say like, oh, I know that your favorite pen is running out of ink. We're going to send the doctor to your house. So just send us your information, your shipping address, and cover the shipping so the doctor pen can save the other pen's life, right? You just try to do it sounds I know it sounds stupid, but I mean, if you want to start just engaging and telling stories that are kind of ridiculous, they're going to work because people don't expect them, to be honest with you.
So have you thought about doing this with authors to try and get them to sell their books and things along those lines? Have you partnered up with anybody in that regard?
Haven't partnered up with authors, but it is an interesting question, so I should keep that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, I just, book sales, there's a lot behind the scenes when it goes on with book sales, and there's strategies to get bestsellers. I don't have a bestseller. I don't even have my book out yet, but I've got some friends that have gone New York Times bestseller and some other cool things. So there's an entire process to it, but it seems like you could take your storytelling ability with these authors and be able to bring the book to life through the magic of storytelling, similar to like Walt Disney does with all their stuff.
Yeah.
That could be a huge play for your company. Are you doing any sort of public speaking with all this, explaining the art? You are, so walk me through that a little bit.
Yeah, so next Wednesday on May 16, I'm co-hosting my first event. It's called Grow Rich. It's in Montreal, and we're expecting 100 people there. Basically, it's a growth mindset event where different people in different categories, different industries get to speak about what they do and how they operate from a growth mindset and how they apply that to their life every single day. So it's very more like practical event, more workshop-like.
Nice.
It's a night event, so it's going to be pretty fun.
Nice. And you say you partner up with, what kind of companies are you partnered up with to do that? I mean, are you co-hosting it, or is it somebody else is getting involved with you?
So I have a business partner, so it's co-hosting the business partner. She's in photography and branding.
Oh, very cool. So you got the whole branding, photography, and storytelling all kind of wrapped. Very cool. Very cool. Because, images tell stories themselves.
Yeah.
So tying that.
Does, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Where else are you going to be speaking at? Are you going to like chambers of commerce and
Oh, no.
associations? No? Why not?
Well, one day. Well, not now. I mean, right now we have like 3 events lined up. So I have that one on May 16. On May 25th, I'm going to the Olympic Stadium, which is a big stadium in Montreal, but it's going to be in a lounge area, so it's going to be very cool. And
did you have me all excited? I'm like, wow, you sold out.
Yeah, I know.
Stadium.
I wish.
We'll give it a couple years, and you'll be there.
Yeah. And also over the summer, I'm going to be going to like I'm not pronouncing it right, but it's Mallorca, so it's a Spanish island. I don't know the exact date yet.
Wait, you're doing like your own conference out on some island?
No. Someone is going to be paying my expenses to go there for a book signing.
Wow. So you have a book as well?
Yeah. Yes. It's called Insights from Professionals.
And what's the book about?
It's 10 interviews with different professionals explaining how they got to their successes, or it's also for people who are starting out basically, because I've interviewed people who've made it and also people who are just starting out, because when I believe for my brand that it's important to acknowledge when people start out and to share their stories with other people as well. So I just got like a mix of different interviews, whether they're highly successful or they're just starting out. Maybe they're starting out with a business idea. Maybe they just launched a business. So it's really to collaborate everyone together to not leave anyone behind.
Nice. And how'd you come up with that idea of writing that particular book?
Yeah, so it was about a year ago in my final year of university where I was just asking students what they were going to do after school once they were graduating and stuff. Many of them told me they didn't really know and they would figure it out when they would be done. So that's where the idea comes from. That's when I decided to go and interview people to know how they got to their successes. And so we can have the stories of other people instead of like waiting until school is done or waiting to change majors or spend more money, like maybe on a guidance counselor or something like that. You could turn to the book instead.
Oh, that's awesome. No, I love that. I mean, I'm a firm believer that my entire career was built on going and finding other people who had found success, asking them how they got there, and then literally mimicking that entire process and just doing what they did until I caught them, and then creating my own processes after I got to their level of whatever their ceiling was. So that's a really cool way. Now, how long has that book been out? I mean, is it new? Is it?
Yeah, it's been out since September of 2017.
Okay. And where can people find that book at? Is it on Amazon? Is it on your website?
Yeah. Yeah, you can find it on Amazon. If you go on my website, you'll be redirected to the Amazon link as well when you see the picture of the book.
Nice. You should be doing some of your own storytelling to really promote that book out there to get more of those sales. You know, what's been the funnest is not a word, but I just said it. What's the most fun you had writing a story? I mean, is there one story, and I know you can leave the brand out of it. Is there one story that when you got done, you were like, holy shit, that's the one?
I don't really know if there's exactly one. I like writing all the different stories because I get to really like learn about someone's brand, someone's company, and just like I like the brainstorming aspect of it. That's my favorite part of doing the stories, brainstorming with the other person. You know, presenting these crazy ideas where someone says, okay, it's okay, we can do that. Sometimes some people say, well, let's just rephrase it or delete this part and stuff like that. So there's a lot of tweaking involved when it comes to storytelling. So the way I work is really like one-on-one with the client. I open up like a Google Doc and then I just start typing, and then the other person can see everything as I'm typing as well. So whenever they have anything to add, they can just comment and stuff. So just a very smooth process.
That's awesome. As you've gone through this journey, I'm sure you've had some great lessons learned already. What are some of and I love asking this question, what are some of the screw ups you've done early on? What are the things that you look back on and go, damn, it sucked when I did that, but I've learned from it, you know, after I've gotten past it?
Yeah, for sure. Back in December, a friend of mine actually forced me to write for a client, which it's kind of uncomfortable at times when someone tries to force you to do something, but at the same time, I understood where he was coming from. He wanted me to grow and like get more, like, I guess, more gigs and stuff. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess let's do it. You can submit my name. And he submitted my name to Ty Lopez as a competition. Ty Lopez was running a competition with 10 different copywriters. And from there, he would be picking one copywriter, and whoever wins would win more money. And so he basically pays 10 copywriters to write a sales page for him for his crypto course. And I tried, and I was just very, very stressed because I didn't know how to, since like Ty Lopez is very like more a marketer than what I do, I really had to go and do like dry copywriting that's a little more dry. So I feel like I stumbled a lot, and I just really fell and kept on falling, and I just ended up submitting it. But I know my open rates weren't really good. Nice.
So, well, you say your open rates weren't really good. So Ty actually used your letter?
He uses every single person that he hired during that time, during the competition.
I take it you didn't win because your open rates weren't
there. I didn't. No.
So what's your biggest takeaway from that experience? I mean, because Ty Lopez is a big name. I mean, listeners don't know who he is. Just Google it and you'll figure it out. I mean, he's done some big things. What's your lessons learned? What's your takeaways from that experience?
Well, I guess the first takeaway is that maybe I tell my friend maybe more like what I do now, so he gets a better understanding of how I do it now. Started out as doing like direct response copywriting, but I wasn't the best at it. So that's the lesson that I learned, that I didn't want to keep doing it that way because I wasn't really satisfied. And plus the person who just paid me money for it they didn't get the results they needed.
Right. So, I mean, for everybody, it's knowing what your ideal client is and knowing what your capability is to meet them, and be willing to walk away from something when it's not a fit. It's a great lesson to learn. So, if tomorrow you were going to start back over at zero, what would you change throughout your life, your career to where you are now?
I kind of hate those kind of questions because I don't really know. I don't really know what I would change. Like, I'm learning on the go basically, so I would still be learning unless my future self comes back to the past, I guess, and tells myself to work with bigger clients and stuff like that. But I would have probably been on social media, engaging more on social media than just just for the fun of it, basically. Right now, I just use social media just for business, even if it's my own personal page. So I have tactics where I add a lot of people, and I try to screen them and everything. Just trying to figure out a lot of different tactics around that.
Nice. I think all of us wish we were more engaged on Facebook and things when it first came out, to do the entire journey and ride. Well, awesome, brother. So how do people find you if they want to engage in your storytelling stuff and everything else? What do they do to find you? Yeah,
they can add me on Facebook. I don't have 5,000 friends yet, so they can just add me there. And that's where I engage the most, actually. So if you want to add me on there, you'll get a response in 2 seconds because I'm always on Facebook. You can also go on my website, AntoineAiroldi.com, and also Instagram.com/Antoine_Airoldi. So Instagram and Facebook are the 2 platforms that I'm mostly on, but I'm on all of them. So really depends.
Awesome. So any sage advice or a phrase that you would give people that they can take with them for the rest of their journey as they go through life and move forward? What's something you could tell them that they can take with them forever?
Only 1 sentence, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, don't tell me a whole story.
That's I don't know, man. It really depends what they're doing. I would say if they're doing storytelling or copywriting, I'd just pick up some books, learn from the books, and apply. Don't keep reading books forever. I would say that. So a lot of people say that you need to read a lot of books. I read a lot of books, but I try to read less now because I want to do more work. I want to do more stories, and I say that yes, reading books is fun, but also just doing the work is way more fun because you see more and more results. I would stick to that.
Awesome. Love it, bro. Hey, man, I really appreciate you having on the show today. It's been a lot of fun getting to know you, hearing about your storytelling stuff. Thanks so much for giving us your time today. And keep the hustle up, keep grinding. I like what you're doing. I think there's something really cool there.
Thanks.
Hey, guys. Seriously, thanks for listening to this badass episode. I love doing these. I love to hear people's stories and journeys, but what I love most is if you can comment, if you share, if you can tell your friends about this podcast, that would mean everything to me.